Hey everyone, this is Jeannie and welcome to my channel. I had several requests from, let me scooch up. I had several requests from people asking me how I lost 17, 18 pounds. And so I made some notes and I decided to come on real quick today and just share with you how I did it and why I did it and the results. I just, this is something that's very near and dear to my heart. And you know what? I know I don't have the right lighting. I watched the best video yesterday. It was Swoozie's on the lighting and putting these different colors over your lights so that you look better. I don't have any of that stuff in my videos. I'm so sorry. So, you know, I didn't even know anything about lights and all that. I thought you just put your camera up there and you talk. So, um, my camera is probably 5 years old from Target. It was only $70. So today I'm just using what's in my computer thing on Movie Maker. And a lot of people say they can't really hear me or understand me. I'll look at this video before I put it up and see if I should use my $70 Target camera. I think I'm going to ask Dennis to get me a new camera. A little bit more updated. But anyhow, let's go on to why I did this diet. And you know what? I don't like calling it a diet. I just don't like the word diet because I don't feel like we should be on a diet. I feel like it should be just the way you live, your lifestyle. It's how I'm going to live for the rest of my life. I just have to, you know, and I'm not saying everybody has to do this, but this is how I did it. I am 5 feet 1 inch tall. When I worked, I always wore 3-inch heels because I always felt short and inadequate. Because when you're short, it's like you don't have any power. So I always wore 3-inch heels and I felt more powerful. But I always made sure that I stayed at a certain weight. When I got pregnant, of course, I gained a lot of weight, you know, which is normal. You need to. When I was growing up, I would never get over 90 pounds, 89, 90 pounds when I was young. And even after I was married, I was always skinny and frail and sickly. And so I began taking charge of my health way back then in the 70s. So I did that in California. I learned about nutrition. I learned all about Adele Davis's book on nutrition, how to have healthy children. I had both of my children naturally, natural childbirth. It was a big, almost a taboo thing to do back then. But I had a home birth for both of the kids, but in a, not at home. I had it at them both at like this doctor's office while I had Stephanie. I'm going to have to cut some of this out because that's not true. I had my son at the hospital and because he was so huge, but I refused to take any kind of medication because I wanted to nurse right afterwards and all that. And back then, if you had any kind of drugs, you weren't allowed to nurse your baby. And that was really big in my eyes to breastfeed kids. And so I did. So I had this 10-pound baby and no drugs or anything, but I was crazy. I think I was crazy. Anyhow, I don't want to get off on that. What I'm trying to say is, I believe you should stay as natural as possible. So what do? I wear tons of makeup and I dye my hair. So, anyhow, I had some good sleep last night. Okay. Okay, let's get back to my weight loss story. So, with all that history behind me in nutrition, um, I practically grew up in a hospital when I was young. I remember days and days in the hospital, wanting my mother and wanting to go home. Um, Up until I was in junior high school. And then when I got married, I know my parents were happy to get rid of me because I was such an expensive person. So, anyhow, my husband got me. We moved to California. I learned all about nutrition and I got healthy. I got off all of my shots for allergies. I got off all of my medications. I didn't have asthma anymore. I didn't have colds or bronchial problems, and I got better because I was very proactive in healthy eating, salads, fruits, vegetables, constantly. Well, fast forward about 40 years later, back here where I live now, it's not California. Um, I began to work and I stayed thin and healthy up until menopause time. And something just happened to my body and I began to, oh, I know what it was. I discovered Starbucks Frappuccinos, and oh boy, I never had to count calories or anything, but I did get addicted to Starbucks Frappuccinos. They were delicious. Little did I know they were probably about 1,000 calories, maybe a little bit under, and I started gaining weight. And then I discovered Ben and Jerry's ice cream. Just the little ones, and I would have one per weekend, and I started inching up towards 120, and at that point it kind of freaked me out that I was 120 pounds, which is what I want to be right now. I'm not yet, but I did start to gain weight, and so I quit some jobs, went into the hospital, and sitting at a desk all day long with patients, I started gaining weight. Not too much, but enough where I had to go up a size or two in my suits. Well, fast forward a couple more years, maybe 10 years later, I retired early, and I was a housewife again. I got to stay home and cook for my husband. Kids were gone. And I think in the transition of coming home and not being someone anymore, when I went to work, I was somebody. I was someone great. And I loved it. I loved having an effect on people. I loved having an effect on my hospital and doing good. And I would have, it was to the point where people from different hospitals in the area would come over and shadow me and watch how I did my job and try to take that information back to their hospitals and do what I did over there. Well, I don't know if they ever did. And I practically had carte blanche at the hospital. And they treated me like gold. They just didn't pay me enough. I would have liked some of that gold. They did. They treated me really well. And, it was kind of neat for 10 years to be respected and looked up to and talked about and winning awards. And it was really good. Very stressful. Very, very stressful job, but it was kind of neat to be somebody for a while. And so I gave my notice because it was way too stressful. My husband was going through different surgeries with his heart, And I decided I needed to be home. It's where my heart was. It wasn't anywhere else but at home. So I began cooking and, eating, and maybe I was feeding myself with food, because food is it's instant gratification. Food is, you immediately feel good when you eat. And you can have whatever you want and you immediately feel good. I did feel good, in other areas, but I enjoyed cooking. I loved chocolate. I stopped drinking Starbucks Frappuccinos because I knew by then they were high in calories, and I tried to go on diets and nothing worked. I was getting depressed because my stomach was getting pretty big, and I wasn't used to wearing big clothes, bigger than I normally wore clothes. So with my husband's surgeries, I learned all about heart health and how to take care of your heart, how important nutrition is. So my husband needed to lose weight, and I decided I was going to start a different kind of a lifestyle, and maybe he would copy me, and because I want him to live a long time. I don't want him to just sit down and eat a bag of potato chips, and which he did. He did that, and that's not good for your heart. So about this is day 55, a month before today, back 55 days and a month before that, I went on YouTube and I found Christy, Cooking Keto with Christy. I'll link her channel below, and also Swoozie's about the lighting. And she is all about ketogenic dieting, which is supposed to be good for your heart. What I gathered from it, though, was, and I was on it for 1 month, and I lost about 8 pounds or so. I didn't keep track of anything like I do now, but it's like an Atkins diet. You eat fat, you don't eat fruit, you eat bacon and no pasta. It's basically Atkins, but they call it ketogenic. Well, knowing what I do about the heart, I couldn't justify that kind of a lifestyle for 1 month for myself or my husband. I wanted to cut out the fat, and maybe it's wrong, maybe I'm doing this wrong, but I felt like I needed to eat fruit, and on this diet you can have very limited fruit, and I love oranges and peaches and bananas and fruit. God made fruit. So I decided to, since I was doing pretty well for the first 30 days, I decided that I would begin counting my calories. Now, detailed work, paperwork works well for me. Graphs and charts work well for me. Keeping track of details works for me. Might not work for everybody, but it works for me. And I needed to get to a place where I was at a healthy weight before anything happened to my heart or my organs. We have to keep our organs and heart healthy in order to live a long life. So, and I felt like fruit was vital to that for me. So I began counting my calories just to see how much I was eating, and I started counting calories when I was on a ketogenic diet, and I was eating like thousands of calories, and I hit a plateau, and I thought, well, I need to cut down on a lot of this food that I'm eating. So I took out the bacon, I took out the fat, I took out all the stuff that I felt like was wrong for me, and I began putting in tons of green vegetables, lots of salads. I love dressing, so I did turn to fat-free dressing, and I began counting everything that I ate, including my coffee and the creamer, in my diet. And the first day that I started this, let's see, go back to the beginning. sometimes I was eating up to 2,000 calories a day. That doesn't help you lose weight if you have an overabundance of calories. So I began trying to limit my calorie intake to about 1,500 and below, which is pretty healthy. Well, sometimes I only ate 900 calories a day because I just wasn't hungry. So, for instance, I'll show you Saturday, July 2nd. I had 2 coffees with heavy cream, 1 yogurt, some chicken from Wawa, because it was good, a Wawa macchiato. I bought the Weight Watchers TV dinners that you pop in the microwave. That's plenty for me. A lot of people say that's not enough food, but one of those with a big salad and an orange. That was about almost 1,200 calories. So that's what I did every day. And then I started keeping track of how many days. I have a notebook, a pretty little notebook that I use. And I put the date, what day it is, day number. And I kind of put a little journal in it, not really hungry, but I lost weight. And this day it was 920 calories. So I had my coffee, 2 coffees, my TV dinner, 2 croquettes, which I don't know what that is, right in detail, a big salad, an orange, another orange, 2 fat-free Hebrew National hot dogs, and they don't use nitrates or anything. So this is basically what I do. And today is day 56. August 8th, and I haven't even filled it out yet. Now, yesterday I wasn't hungry at all, and I had only about 900 calories, which I know isn't enough. But I have to go with my appetite. If I'm not hungry, I'm not going to eat. If I am hungry, I'm going to eat. I'm going to choose healthy food. So that's how I lost 17 pounds. Also, okay, the why of it is so I can get healthy and not carry around a lot of excess weight for my heart. How I did it, counting calories, I'm looking at my notes, counting calories and writing all of this down in a notebook, counting the days. I'm very proud that I'm on day 56, not counting the first month. I weigh myself every single morning. That way I'm not afraid the next day to see if I've gained any weight, and I write it down. I feel like this is a lifestyle, not a diet. So my husband joined me about a month ago, and he's losing weight. One of those days, though, he started eating cashews, and boy, cashews are really high in calories and, some other things. But I encouraged him. I said, this is you haven't gone off your diet. It's a lifestyle. So just pick back up wherever you are and begin again. You always allow yourself to start over and continue, not just get depressed because you ate a bowl of ice cream or something the day before. So consider this a lifestyle, not a diet. I exercise. I get on my little elliptical out on the screened-in porch, and I just go for about 2 or 3 minutes, just a little bit at a time until I, get really winded. But it's very healthy. I also do stretches every day, and I do leg lifts, 50 on each side. And you know what I've noticed? Let me tell you what the results are. The results that I have discovered are, it's not the weight that I've discovered that I've lost mostly, it's the inches. I'm wearing a size 6. I haven't been able to fit into a size 4 yet, but I'm wearing a size 6. 10s are too big. All my clothes are too big. But when I go to sleep at night and I'm lying down, I don't feel a great big round stomach. So that was my most exciting thing. And it's kind of nice to go into my closet. I'm glad I didn't get rid of all my size 4s and 6s because those are cute clothes. And I get name brands, so in their classics, so they don't really go out of style. So I'm a couple sizes down than what I was. I'm not out of breath anymore when I do my housework. I like to clean my floors myself on my hands and knees with rags so that they really get clean. I don't have to grunt when I get up anymore like I used to. So I hope this video was helpful. I'm trying to make sure I hit all the points. One of the things I read, and I know this is long, I have been doing research about dementia because of my parents. They're going through dementia, and it's really sad. You know, they know who we are. They just go off into their own world sometimes. And I read a report in doing my research on avoiding dementia, and I need to find the article and link it somehow. But there are studies now. This is another reason I did this lifestyle. There are studies where if you have hunger pains, you know, not starvation, but, you know, if you're a little bit hungry and you have that time of no food and you're not eating from 6 o'clock until breakfast time, maybe 8 o'clock in the morning, you know, that whole 12-hour cycle, 14-hour cycle of not eating, somehow there's a relation between your brain and your stomach, and your brain rejuvenates. The neurons in your brain somehow begin working and activating themselves, and it helps to avoid dementia. That was one of the reports I read in trying to understand how my parents both got dementia, and I don't want dementia. So I need to go back and revisit that article and just reread it and print it out, study it, and I thought that was really interesting to be a little bit hungry for 12 hours. It's vital for your brain. Your brain heals itself when you're a little bit hungry. So I just thought that was interesting, and I'll try to find it and link it below. If I don't, I'll look for it for another video. But that's how I lost 17, I think it's 18 pounds today. I have hit some plateaus where I didn't lose any weight at all, but I still have about 10 pounds left where I would be comfortable. I would be comfortable. I don't want to get skinny because I don't want a lot of wrinkles. So if you guys have any questions, just leave a comment below and I'll do my best to answer. I do take a lot of vitamins. I drink lots and lots of water. I think that's important too. And yeah, that's how I lost my weight and why I lost my weight and the results of my weight loss. So I feel good. I don't feel skinny yet. So let me know how you guys lost your weight. I would be really interested to know. And let's just keep going and try to stay as healthy as possible. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.